Have you ever wondered who the old money families of New York are and how their wealth continues to influence the city? In the world of wealth and privilege, there's a distinction that often goes unnoticed by the majority. It's the difference between old money and new money. Now, what does old money mean, you ask? In essence, it refers to wealth that has been inherited over generations, rather than recently acquired. The term is often associated with class, heritage, and a certain level of understated elegance. When we take a look at New York, a city renowned for its financial prowess and staggering wealth, the concept of old money becomes even more intriguing. The Big Apple has a rich history of affluent families whose fortunes have spanned generations, with their influence seeping into the very fabric of the city. These families, often referred to as the old money families of New York, have had a significant impact on the city's development and culture. They've been instrumental in shaping New York into the metropolis we see today, their names adorning the city's most famous landmarks, streets, and institutions. From the lush expanses of Central Park to the grandeur of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the influence of these families is everywhere. Their wealth has funded museums, universities, and hospitals, leaving an indelible mark on the city's landscape. But their impact extends beyond the physical. They've also played a significant role in defining New York's social and cultural norms. The traditions and values of these families have permeated the city's high society, shaping its etiquette, fashion, and even its attitudes towards wealth and status. So who are these families, and how did their wealth contribute to the city's growth? How did their influence shape the city's culture? And perhaps most importantly, how does their legacy continue to impact New York today? Stay tuned as we delve into the fascinating history of these elite families. Our journey starts in the late 18th and early 19th century, when New York began to emerge as a commercial hub. The city was taking its first steps towards becoming the financial powerhouse we know today. It was a time of transformation, a time when the cobblestone streets echoed with the clatter of horse-drawn carriages, and new buildings began to punctuate the skyline. This period marked the rise of commerce and industry, with the city becoming a critical junction for trade. Ships from all over the world docked at its bustling ports, unloading goods that would be sold and traded in the growing marketplaces. The city's strategic location, coupled with the burgeoning industrial revolution, made it a magnet for entrepreneurs and visionaries. Among these visionaries were a handful of families who saw the potential in this thriving metropolis. They were not aristocrats by birth, but self-made men who had the foresight and ambition to seize the opportunities that lay before them. These individuals, through their entrepreneurial spirit, built fortunes in industries like fur trade, real estate, and railroads. Their influence began to shape the social, economic, and even architectural landscape of New York. The names of these families, Astor, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, would in time become synonymous with wealth and power. They were the architects of their own fortunes, creating wealth on an unprecedented scale. Their decisions and investments helped shape the city's future, turning it into a global hub of commerce and culture. These families were the epitome of the American dream, rising from humble beginnings to become some of the wealthiest individuals in the nation. Their legacy can still be seen in the city today, in the buildings they built, the companies they founded, and the philanthropic institutions they established. These families laid the foundation for what would become some of the most influential dynasties in New York. Their stories are a testament to the city's dynamic spirit and its ability to foster innovation and success. They were the pioneers, the visionaries who saw the potential in a bustling port city and turned it into a world-class metropolis. And as we delve deeper into their stories, we'll discover how these old money families not only built their fortunes, but also played a crucial role in building New York. Among the earliest of these families was the Astor family, who made their fortune in the fur trade and real estate. The Astors were a dynasty that began with a German immigrant named John Jacob Astor in the early 19th century. Astor, a cunning entrepreneur, was quick to spot the potential in the American fur trade. With a keen eye for business, he swiftly built a fur trading empire that spread across the continent and into China. His ventures generated substantial wealth, turning him into the richest man in America. However, Astor did not stop there. He astutely foresaw the boom in New York's real estate market and invested heavily in it. This decision would solidify the Astor family's wealth for generations to come. He began buying properties all over Manhattan, then largely undeveloped farmland, and as the city grew, so did the value of his investments. Over the years, the Astors continued to shape the face of New York. They were instrumental in the development of iconic landmarks like the Astor Library, the Astoria neighborhood in Queens, and the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, a symbol of luxury and grandeur. The Astors were not just real estate tycoons, they were influencers of society. They became part of the city's social elite, throwing lavish parties and mingling with the crème de la crème of New York. Their wealth and lifestyle were symbols of the Gilded Age, an era marked by rapid economic growth and conspicuous consumption among the upper class. Yet, it was not all glamour and glitter. The Astors also faced their share of scandals, tragedies, and family feuds. But through it all, they held on to their fortune, passing it down from one generation to the next, ensuring their legacy lived on. The Astors' story is a testament to their foresight and business acumen. Their influence on New York's real estate landscape is still evident today, centuries after John Jacob Astor first set foot in the city. The Astors left an indelible mark on New York, but they were just the beginning. Next, we turn our attention to the Vanderbilt family, who amassed their wealth through shipping and railroads. In the early 19th century, Cornelius Vanderbilt, the patriarch of the Vanderbilt family, was just a humble ferry operator. But with an entrepreneurial spirit and a keen eye for opportunity, he transformed his small ferry operation into a shipping empire. His business acumen, combined with a ruthless streak, allowed him to dominate the steamship industry and later, the burgeoning railroad sector. Cornelius Vanderbilt's success in railroads was pivotal. He realized the potential of this new mode of transportation and quickly moved to consolidate several smaller lines into the New York Central Railroad. This move not only multiplied the Vanderbilt wealth, but also revolutionized transportation across New York and beyond. The Vanderbilt family's influence on New York's transportation infrastructure was immense. They essentially built the city's backbone, connecting it to the rest of the country. Their railroads brought goods, people, and ideas into the city, fueling its growth and prosperity. But the Vanderbilts were not just business tycoons. They were also philanthropists and patrons of the arts. Many of the institutions we associate with New York, such as the Metropolitan Opera and Vanderbilt University, owe their existence to the generous contributions of the Vanderbilt family. The Vanderbilt mansions, too, are a testament to their wealth and influence. These grand structures, some of which still stand today, were a symbol of their status and power. They were often the epicenter of New York society, hosting balls and gatherings attended by the city's elite. However, their wealth and power did not come without controversy. The Vanderbilts were often criticized for their ostentatious displays of wealth and their ruthless business practices. But despite the criticism, there's no denying their impact on the city. The Vanderbilts, like the Astors, played a significant role in shaping the city we know today. Their influence can still be felt, from the railroads that keep the city moving, to the cultural institutions they helped establish, and the grand mansions that bear their name. Their legacy is an integral part of New York's rich history. No discussion of old money would be complete without mentioning the Rockefellers who made their wealth in oil. This family has long been synonymous with opulence and influence, and their story is woven into the very fabric of New York's identity. In the mid-19th century, a young man named John D. Rockefeller stepped onto the scene. Born into modest circumstances, Rockefeller had a vision far beyond his humble beginnings. He saw the potential in the burgeoning oil industry and seized the opportunity to build a business empire that would become the stuff of legend. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in 1870, and through ruthless strategy and keen business acumen, he built it into an oil monopoly that controlled the majority of American refineries and pipelines. This monopoly not only made him the richest man in America, but also one of the wealthiest individuals in history. But the Rockefellers were not just about amassing wealth. They believed in giving back, a principle that has become a cornerstone of their legacy. Deeply committed to philanthropy, they have funded numerous institutions and initiatives over the years, some of which have had a profound impact on New York. The Rockefeller University, the Museum of Modern Art, and the Rockefeller Center are just a few examples of the family's philanthropic endeavors. These institutions have not only enriched the cultural and educational landscape of New York, but they have also become iconic symbols of the city itself. The Rockefellers also played a pivotal role in preserving New York's natural beauty. They donated land for many of the city's parks and helped establish the Palisades Interstate Park Commission, which protects the scenic Hudson River Palisades. From an unassuming start to a legendary rise, the Rockefeller family's story is a testament to the power of vision, determination, and philanthropy. Their influence has touched every aspect of New York, from its skyline to its cultural institutions, its economy, and its natural landscape. The Rockefellers' legacy continues to shape New York in profound ways. While these families made their wealth in the past, their influence persists in the present day. The old money families of New York, the Astors, Vanderbilts, and Rockefellers, are more than just names from a history textbook. They are entities whose influence continues to permeate the city, shaping its culture, skyline, and ethos. Let's start with philanthropy. The Rockefellers, for instance, established the Rockefeller Foundation, which has been a significant player in global health, education, and scientific research for over 100 years. The Vanderbilt family, although not as wealthy as they once were, still contribute to society through various charitable organizations. The Astors, too, have left their mark on the city's social welfare system, funding public libraries, schools, and hospitals. Cultural institutions, too, owe their existence to these families. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Museum of Modern Art, the New York Public Library, all bear the stamp of their patronage. Even Broadway, the heart of New York's theater district, has been influenced by old money. The Vanderbilt family, for instance, financed the construction of several historic theaters in the early 20th century. But perhaps the most visible impact of old money is in New York's real estate. The Astors were once the biggest landlords in New York, owning vast tracts of Manhattan. The Rockefellers developed significant parts of Midtown, including the iconic Rockefeller Center. The Vanderbilts, too, have left their mark on the city's skyline, with their grand mansions and the historic Grand Central Terminal. This influence is not just about money, it's about a legacy that has shaped the city's identity. Through their philanthropic efforts, cultural contributions, and real estate investments, these families have left an indelible imprint on New York. Their wealth may have been amassed in the past, but their influence is very much a part of the city's present. The legacy of old money is still very much alive in New York. It's a testament to the enduring power of wealth and the influence it can wield, even generations down the line. Despite the enduring influence of old money, the face of wealth in New York is changing. For centuries, the Astors, Vanderbilts, and Rockefellers have been synonymous with New York's wealth. But today, that landscape is shifting, and the city's skyline is reflecting these changes. The traditional old money families are now sharing the spotlight with an influx of new money from the booming tech industry. The rise of the digital age has given birth to a new generation of billionaires. These tech moguls, with their fortunes rooted in innovation and entrepreneurship, are reshaping the wealth narrative of the Big Apple. They're not descended from railroad tycoons or oil barons, but from a world of bits, bytes, and disruptive technologies. This fresh wave of prosperity is not just altering the city's wealth structure, but it's also challenging the traditional norms of philanthropy and power. Unlike the old money families, who were known for their vast estates and high society galas, these new tycoons are investing their wealth in ways that reflect the digital era. They're pouring money into causes like climate change, education reform, and artificial intelligence research. But it's not just about the money. The new wealthy are also bringing a different mindset to the table. They're less concerned about maintaining a legacy and more focused on making a lasting impact. They're not just building fortunes, they're building the future. Yet it's important to note that this isn't a battle between old money and new money. Rather, it's a fascinating evolution of wealth. The old money families, with their enduring influence, continue to play a significant role, but they're now joined by a dynamic set of new players. Together, they're shaping a city that's always been a symbol of aspiration and achievement. The story of wealth in New York is far from over. It's a tale that's constantly being written, with each new chapter adding a different layer of intrigue and complexity. As we move forward, it's exciting to imagine what the next generation of wealth will bring to this vibrant city. We've taken a fascinating journey through the history of New York's old money families. The Astors, Vanderbilts, and Rockefellers, among others, were not just families with wealth, they were dynasties that shaped the very foundations of the city we know and love today. From the early beginnings of an era defined by fur trade and real estate investments, we've seen how these families grew their fortunes and left a lasting legacy. The Astor family, with their vast real estate empire, showed us that location is indeed king. They transformed New York into a thriving hub of commerce and culture. We then dived into the story of the Vanderbilts, a family that turned the transportation industry on its head. Their railroad empire didn't just bring them wealth, it connected cities and catalyzed the growth of New York in ways that were previously unimaginable. And who could forget our exploration of the Rockefeller family? Their influence in the oil industry was nothing short of revolutionary. They weren't just business magnates, they were visionaries who saw potential in an industry that was still in its infancy. But it's not just about their financial prowess. These families also left a profound societal impact. They were philanthropists who believed in giving back. They established some of the city's most cherished institutions, and even today, their names are etched in the fabric of New York. However, as we move forward, the face of wealth is changing. New industries are emerging, and with them, a new generation of wealth. But even as the old money gives way to the new, one thing remains constant: the allure of wealth and power. New York, a city shaped by old money, continues to be a magnet for those seeking to make their mark. It's a testament to the enduring appeal of the city that these old money families helped build. While the names and faces may change, the allure of wealth and power in New York remains a captivating tale.